Trucker Dump for November 10th, 2009, Episode 32, SLC to CYA.
Welcome to Trucker Dump, where you'll get one driver's insights and sometimes humorous views of truck driving and the trucking industry, and pretty much anything else he feels like dumping on you. This podcast is brought to you by AboutTruckDriving.com. Resources to help you understand the world of truck driving through the use of stories and a pathetic attempt at humor.
Howdy, podcast listeners. I see you didn't have anything better to do again today. Your life must really suck. Todd McCann here. Today's podcast is about something that has only happened to me once in my entire trucking career. Let's hope it stays that way. I gave this one the cryptic title of SLC to CYA. I was doing my pre-trip walk-around inspection when I rounded the back corner of my trailer and saw a sight no driver wants to see. The seal was broken on my trailer. I knew immediately that someone had broken into the trailer while I slept. The thoughtful thief had attempted to fool me by putting the broken seal back in place. Quite honestly, I'm surprised I noticed it. So now what? Well, I don't know about you, but I kind of like this whole living and breathing thing. Therefore, the first thing I did was look around to make sure I wasn't about to be cold-cocked by a criminal who was none too happy with being interrupted. After making sure that the coast was clear, I held my breath, wished for the best, opened the trailer door, and peeked inside. Wait, perhaps I should back up to the night before. I had picked up a load from a major retailer's warehouse that was located just south of Chicago. This company's shipping process goes something like this. When I hook to my loaded trailer, the doors are already closed and there's a plastic seal in place. I then drive to the outbound gate where the security guard confirms that the seal is intact and the numbers match their paperwork. Next, the guard has the driver break the seal and open the trailer doors. The guard then verifies the store number printed on a label to ensure that the cargo matches the destination on the paperwork. If everything matches, they put a different seal on the trailer and verify that the new number matches. In other words, I've got no chance of stealing anything off that trailer. Not every shipper is so strict. Some toss a seal at you and walk off. Others don't even offer one. In that case, I use one that my company has supplied. So what exactly is this seal thing that I speak of? A seal's primary purpose is to show if the load has been tampered with. It's just like in the movies when you see the king seal a letter with a wax stamp to ensure that no one has read the contents. Only a wax seal is way cooler than a trucking seal. When you reach the receiver, they can see that if the seal is intact and the number on it matches the paperwork, all is well in Truckville. Now, if there's a shortage of product, they can't blame the truck driver. That is, if you take the right precautions. More on that in a minute. There are four main kinds of seals: plastic, tin, cable, and bolt. I've got pictures of each in the blog post over at AboutTruckDriving.com. Even though the pictures show padlocks, most drivers don't use one. The pictures only have locks because I took all these pictures at a company terminal and they padlock every loaded trailer as it comes in. Now let's hope no breaking and entering specialists read this next part. No seal is completely theft-proof. A plastic seal can be broken with a quick tug of the bare hand. A tin seal will cut you if you try that. But if you're wearing a pair of gloves, this technique also works. Cable and bolt seals are more of a deterrent, but like any padlock, either can be removed with a standard set of bolt cutters anyone can buy at their local Thieves R Us store. So back to the story. After leaving the shipper, I drove to the TA truck stop on I-90 just west of Chicago. When I parked for the night, the wind was blowing so hard that my truck was rocking back and forth, making me feel like a drunken pirate trying to sleep off a liter of rum. Arr! This is relevant because a driver can sometimes feel it if someone starts walking around inside the trailer, but I wouldn't have felt a thing with the truck rocking all night. And no, I was solo at the time. The evil overlord was at home, you perv. Now back to why the shipper's outbound process is relevant. In opening that trailer door the night before, I had seen what was on the rear of the trailer. I recall seeing power tools such as drills, circular saws, shop vacs, house vacuums, and the like. It was stacked within 2 feet of the ceiling nearly all the way to the trailer doors. There was lots of stuff that I wouldn't mind owning, and most of it was easily portable. So when I opened the trailer door the next morning, I was surprised to see that nothing appeared to be missing. That's weird. I called the company to inform them. After a brief discussion, they told me to reseal the trailer with one of our company seals, note it on the paperwork, and move on down the road. When the receiver unloaded me, they only found 2 items missing. One 42-inch LCD TV and, oddly enough, one gadget that was designed to roll up a garden hose. I'm guessing the latter was a shipping error, but there was no doubt about that TV. I told them I hadn't seen a TV on the rear of the trailer the night before. They explained that there was a large empty space where it had sat approximately 15 feet from the rear of the trailer. Some of the top boxes had been squashed a bit. So, whoever stole that TV would have had to crawl up and over stacks of freight within 2 feet of the ceiling to get what they were after. It was clear to everyone present that whoever broke into the trailer knew exactly what they were looking for and exactly where it was. Clearly an inside job. Because of this, and perhaps the fact that I offered to let the receiving clerk look inside my truck for the missing TV, my company never said another word about it. Had it not been so apparent, who knows? As I hinted earlier, there are other ways for a driver to protect himself from suspicious glances from receiving clerks. At the shipper, smart drivers, that would be me, sign their name to the bill of lading and then write SLC in big letters, which stands for Shipper Load and Count. If you've signed SLC and you let the shipper seal the trailer, when the receiver is short a product, you can't be held responsible. They'll know that the loader just can't count as well as a 5th grader. Hey, I bet there's a game show in there somewhere. Anywho, some shippers forbid SLC, but most don't care. Other shippers require you to sign for the number of pieces loaded on the trailer. In this case, you can either count the product as it's being put on the trailer, or you can trust the loader not to hose you. Despite knowing better, I only count freight if the shipper requires me to do it. One of these days, I'm sure this will come back to take a big bite out of my rump roast, but so far it hasn't. So until then, let laziness rule. Either way you lean, you'd sign this paperwork with SLDC, which stands for Shipper Load Driver Count. Now they know that you're the moron who can't count. Either that or they've guessed you're just a lazy scuzzbucket. Another way to cover your gluteus maximus is to have the receiver sign the bills with the phrase, seal intact. That way if they discover an overage or shortage after you've already left the premises, your glutes are covered. While I've only had one theft in my 12 plus years, I've had many loads with overages or shortages. No matter which trucking company I was working for at the time, the first question is always the same. Did you sign SLC? If you did, they just take the details down and you'll probably never hear another peep. If you didn't, you could be held responsible. And FYI, if a trucker tries to sell you something expensive that was extra on a load, don't buy it, literally and figuratively. The only thing I've ever been able to keep was an extra case of toilet paper, a damaged case of Honey Nut Cheerios, and a few packets of enchilada seasoning. I'm sure Sony would want those extra camcorders back. As for break-ins and broken seals, let's just hope you haven't recently purchased a 42-inch LCD TV.
Hey, yo, bud, where do you want this load of feedback?
Got a couple of really quick comments today. Let's snap to them so you can get the heck on out of here. Truck Driver News says, sorry, but I had to laugh at this one as I've been in the same boat many times. For the same reasons, just one more load makes the check look good, especially if I was having a good week to begin with. But almost every time I did a trick like this, something would cause me to be late getting home or not home at all. Be safe. Well, Jason, it's okay to laugh at me. Being married to the evil overlord has trained me in the art. And Driver Education Course writes in and says, great post with great stuff. That sounds pretty cool, really helpful. Thanks for the article. Great job. Hope we can expect more Driver Education Course articles. All the best. Well, Driver Education Course, man, that's a long name. Thanks for the comment. You'll get more, as that's the whole purpose for the blog. I really can't tell any truck drivers anything they don't already know. As an example, take the comment from Truck Driver News. He's been in exactly this scenario. Come back soon. You're welcome anytime. And that goes for the rest of you too. You're welcome to write comments, suggestions, constructive criticism, or you can just get on there to say, hey, I don't always read those, but I love getting the comments anyway. Of course, y'all can always give me written comments, but did you know how easy it was to do an audio comment? Most smartphones nowadays have some kind of little voice recorder on them. Most of the time they're going to have some kind of little share button, and that usually involves an email, so you can just email me directly from your phone with your audio comment. You can blab as much as you want. Just remember that this podcast does not have an explicit tag, so any naughty words will be bleeped out. And don't make me do that. It's hard to bleep out words. Alright, so how can you contact me? Well, of course, you know how. It's coming up next. So, have you ever had anything stolen from one of your loads? Or how about had an entire truck stolen? Let us hear about it and any other tips you may have to help prevent load theft. Head on over to abouttruckdriving.com, type the letters SLC into the search bar, and leave a comment. If you prefer email, that'd be truckerdump@gmail.com. Or if you're a Twitter junkie like me, follow me at twitter.com/Todd McCann. That's 2 D's, 2 C's, and 2 N's. If you haven't already subscribed to the podcast, you can do so from abouttruckdriving.com or from iTunes. May as well leave a review of the podcast while you're there. Thanks for listening. So until next time, drive safe and stay out of my way.